Morning children. As you know, we are in our chapter number 7, that is water resources. On that day we have completed our water resources. Second point, importance and need for irrigation in India. Today we will start important point, that is means of irrigation. Here we will study about canals, tanks, wells. So come to methods of irrigation. Okay. See here, different sources and methods of irrigations are used depending on the topography. So it is depend upon topography. Depending on topography, soils, rainfall, availability of groundwater, nature of river and requirement of crops. So these things are required for the different sources and the method of irrigation. What are the important here? Topography, soils, rainfall, availability of groundwater, nature of rivers and requirement of crops. Got it? So first I will show you diagram. In that it is given on your page number 158. So in this table the means of irrigation is explained very clearly. Look at here. Look at here, it is given means of irrigation. This means of irrigation divided into two different methods. Primitive method of irrigation and modern methods of irrigation. Now see here, primitive methods of irrigation, again it is divided into three terms. Look at here, three terms are given there. Canal irrigation, tank irrigation, wells. Canal, tank, wells. Now these, look at here, this canal irrigation divided into two terms. Inundation canal, perennial canal. Got it? Inundation and perennial canal. Okay. Now see, tank irrigation, the no subdivisions are there. Now see here, wells are there. Surface wells, tube wells. Surface and tube wells. Now after that, these surface wells divided into two terms. Line wells, unlined wells. Okay. And in this line well, the different methods of drawing water we are using. These different methods we are using in that Persian wheel, Rahat, Charas, Moat, Picothe, Dhikli. Okay. Now come to a modern method of irrigation. In modern method of irrigation, it divided into three terms. Sprinkler irrigation, drip irrigation and bamboo irrigation. Got it? So here it is clearly mentioned about the different means of irrigation. Mainly two terms and after that subdivided into different types. Clear to everyone? Go through your page number 158 and read it very carefully. Then you can understand. Now here we will come first discuss about canal irrigation. Canal irrigation. Okay. Now see here, canal irrigation. Amounts of canal irrigation amounts to about 40% of total irrigated area in the country. This type of irrigation is more prevalent in northern part of the country. It is more prevalent in northern part, where the rivers are perennial and flow through a flat terrain. So rivers are perennial. Perennial, that means they are flowing whole year. Okay. So it is divided into two terms that already I explained you here. Inundation canal and perennial canal. Now see, first we will discuss about condition necessary for digging canal. Which conditions are necessary for digging canal? The two main requirements for canal irrigation are, first one is low level relief with the deep fertile soil. Now see, clearly mentioned here, low level relief with deep fertile soil are there. And second is perennial source of water, that is snow fed rivers, that we know that the snow fed rivers are perennial, which may be used for the development of canal irrigation. The water from these rivers is stored by building a dam or a weir across the river. So they are building across the river. Weir, that means a low dam but across a stream to raise its level or divert its flow. So they are developing, constructing dam and weir for the storage of water. The water is then distributed. After storing these water, the water is then distributed to the field during a dry season by means of canals and distributaries. They are differently divided and diverted, and they are giving facility to the dry areas. So it is a broadly speaking, canals in India are of two types. That already I explained you about this, that it is a two types, inundation canal and perennial canal. Clear? Now see, inundation canals. These canals are taken out from the rivers without any regulating system like weirs and barrages at their head to regulate the flow of river. A barrage is usually constructed in the lower course of the river in order to raise the level of water in the river. It helps to irrigate the lower region. So these canals are taken out from the river without any regulating system. Any regulating systems are not there. And they are constructing these dams, barrages, weirs and the lower course of the river in order to raise the level of water. Got it my point? They are raising the level of water and after that they are using for the irrigation. Now see, look at here, second point, the canals are taken out from the rivers when they are in a flood. Look at here, flood is there and there is excess of water. Whenever the excess water in the river, hence they are depend on rains or supply of water. So they are fully dependent on rains. Clear? Now see, only the lower level regions can be irrigated by such canal. This is most important thing, that only the lower level region. So we can irrigate it by such canals. As once the rainy season is over and floods subside, the level of water falls below the level of canal's head. Such a canal was taken out from river Satluj, which is prone to flood during a rainy season. Underline it, Satluj, which is prone to flood during the rainy season. Now see, we can see, it may be the advantages or disadvantages, because if if in the river flood is there, the extra water is storage there. And one more thing, they are provided in a lower level region. Now come to the advantages. Inundation canals are easily and cheaply built. This is the most important, they are easily and cheaply built. They are useful in controlling flood. So they are useful for controlling floods also. So as we are having advantages, we also have a disadvantages. Look at here, disadvantages. There is uncertainty of water supply. So it is not sure. So because of uncertainty, it is not sure that they irrigated that particular area. These canals are useful only during floods. They are useful only in flood time. Otherwise they are not used. Okay. Only if rain is low, If less rainfall is there, then how we can utilize these dams and these barrages? So this is the point of thinking, that how we can use these canals. See the third point, only lowland areas can be irrigated. Only, underline, only lowland. So this is the disadvantages of inundation canals. Clear? Now we will talk about perennial canal. Perennial canals, these canals are useful throughout the year as they draw their water from perennial rivers, because they are drawing their water from a perennial rivers, so whole year they are flowing. Now see, artificial lakes or barrages constructed across the river. So these lakes, barrages, they are constructed across the river because these rivers are flowing throughout the year. Now first we will discuss about the advantages. As these canals serve throughout the year, so they are serving throughout the year. See, the agriculture production in the areas of the less or uncertain rainfall has increased considerably. They are increasing considerably. Clear? See the second point. As these canals supply water even during a hot season, cultivation of some crops can be carried out round the year. That means we can cultivate it whole year. So this is advantages. Now come to disadvantages. Disadvantages, problem of salt effervescence. Effervescence, that means the small crystals of salt. The problem of salt effervescence due to overflooding of the fill, which make the soil unsuitable for farming. So they are making field unsuitable. This is the major problem. See the second point, problem of water lodging in case of unlined canal, as the water soak into a adjoining area. They are soaking the adjoining areas, okay, turning them into swamps. They are turning into the swamps. Now see the third point, to save the overflooding, it is necessary to line the canals with the bricks and mortar along the embankments. It is expensive to construct such canals properly. Now look at here again this point, to save overflooding. So we have, whenever we have to save the overflooding, it is necessary to line the canals. We have to line it up with the help of bricks, mortar along the embankment. That means constructing these type of dams. Okay, it is expensive to construct such canals properly. So these the earlier we studied about the inundation canal. They are cheap easily we can construct, but these canals are expensive to construct. Now see, irrigation by canal is more suitable in northern India. It is more suitable in northern India as compared to south, due to the following reason. These are the reasons given why it is famous or why it is suitable for the northern India. The river of the northern plains are perennial as they snow-fed, whereas the southern India rivers are seasonal. So these southern India rivers are the seasonal, but the northern Indian rivers are perennial. Why they are perennial? Because they are snow-fed. So this type of irrigation is possible, or we cannot say possible. These rivers are mainly famous in northern plain area. Got it? Northern India. See the second one. The surface of the northern plain is flat and soft. So it is plain. Northern plain is flat, soft, and hence easy to dig. whilst in the south compared to the south. The reason being rocky is difficult to dig, but the southern area they are rocky and difficult to dig, so they are more prone in northern plain area. Look at the last point, the reason why they are famous in, or why we are using in northern India more than southern India. The demand for irrigation is greater in the northern part, as this is the predominantly an agricultural region where proportion of arable land is highest due to high fertility of soil than other areas of the country. Now the fertility rate compared to the south part, the northern part is more fertile. So, if the irrigation is properly provided or possible in northern part, so we can cultivate more grains, more crops we can cultivate. So, the demand for irrigation is greater in the northern part compared to the southern part. Clearly? Whereas the proportion is arable land. Now see one more thing, the arable land is highest due to the high fertility of soil than the other areas of the country. So northern part is more fertile compared to the southern part. I hope these reasons are clear to everyone. So listen children, today we will stop here only. Today we studied about only canal irrigation. Other different types of irrigation we will I'll send video on Saturday. Till that, go through this chapter, read it carefully and prepare your inside question answer. Have a good day. God bless you.